summer last year abroad in America, and I think she's going to tell you a little bit about her experiences. So, welcome, Lisa.
Wow. The one thing I really hated to do in school, and I'm doing it right now. Thanks, Nikki. So to start off, I'd like to read one of my favourite quotes from my own time. It was Rose Kennedy who said, "It has been said that time heals all wounds." Well, I don't agree. The wounds remain. In time, the mind protecting its sanity covers them with scar tissue. The pain lessens, but it's never gone. You might be wondering how that quote relates to my speech and my time at Inslight. But if you take the next few minutes to listen to my story, you'll understand. I want to share my story with you all. You see, Inslight Learning Academy, and more directly, Nikki Tucker, literally saved my life. I was diagnosed early in life with ADHD and an anxiety disorder, so schooling was always a challenge. Not the academic side of things, but more the social. I suppose the problem was that I looked normal, whatever that is, on the outside, but on the inside, I was a complete mess. My secondary schooling experiences was horrific. Students can be incredibly nasty for someone who is perceived as different and not so liked. I was suspended twice. Was seeing a psychologist weekly at the assistance in school. Was on antidepressants and self-harming. The school's attitude was that I was just an attention seeker, and they were sick of me wasting their time. I started having panic attacks. The school asked my psychologist to, and I quote, "guarantee my safe behaviour, because the impact of my behaviour was having an adverse impact on the college community." My mother realised at this point that the school were not interested in helping me at all, and so pulled me out of the school, telling the school that if she left me there, I'd probably wind up dead. Where else do you go when no one wants you? Enter Inslight Learning Academy. Mum had an interview with Nikki, and Mum was in tears. I remember her saying, "If you do nothing else for my daughter, just get her back her self-esteem." Inslight Learning Academy did much more than that. With patience, understanding and perseverance, I stopped the self-harming and taking antidepressants within 6 weeks of being at Inslight. I stopped seeing my psychologist, although he does come back into play later in my story. But most importantly, I learned how to believe in myself and never give up. I spent a year at Inslight. In that time, the staff invested in me, laid the foundation for me to move on. On graduating from Inslight, I enrolled at the New Zealand Equine Training Academy. Many of my friends I met at Inslight, Nikki included, will tell you I'm an avid writer. Now, I can recall many times in class, and Mason and Eli will vouch for me on this one, where I would sit and be writing, and Nikki would call out, "The assessment's due at the end of the day." I'd turn to one and say, "What assessment?" Well, halfway through my training, I posted a piece of my writing on the internet and came across a website saying, "Work and live in America." Although this seemed dodgy, I clicked it. This led me to apply for Camp America 2009. I was offered a job 2 weeks later in Michigan as a camp counsellor and a riding instructor at a girls' horse camp. My old psychologist wrote one of my references. So, off I went, by myself, 18 years of age, to America and experienced 3 wonderful months. On arrival back in New Zealand, I was rung and offered a job at New Zealand's top yearling farm, Phoenix Park, under Janine Dunlop. A yearling farm prepares yearling thoroughbreds for the National Cracker Sales in January. So, without a formal school qualifications, without a CV, and without applying for a job, I suddenly had one. I was even on TV taking a horse to the premier sale of Cracker. After 6 months of working with Janine at Phoenix, I managed to get a 5-day holiday, the first break since June 2009. During this break, I was rung by Janine, who told me that Chris Woods was looking for a person to work and ride racehorses. I didn't think twice about saying yes. So I'm currently working for Chris Woods Racing Stables and now being trained as a racing strapper. This gives me opportunities to not only just travel nationally, but internationally with thoroughbred horses. In December of 2009, I was emailed by Black River Farm and Ranch, the camp that I went to, and I have been invited back and confirmed to do my second year in Michigan. I leave on June 7th. This time I intend to travel after camp, so my future is bright. But none of this would have been possible without the wonderful tutors of Inslight. So I'd like to say thanks to Annette, Arthur, Colleen and Jean. I'm missing someone. Eli, who am I missing? Nikki. So thanks you to these lovely tutors, I am now enjoying success. There is definitely a place for Inslight Learning Academy in this country. You meet a small market of students that cannot be adequately catered for within the normal mainstream system. This is because students have to fit into the system. The secondary system doesn't adapt to cater for the students. Actually, my mum told me that. So Rose Kennedy was right. Time hasn't healed the wounds, and even though the pain is lessened, it's never truly gone. My experiences have shaped who I am, and hopefully I'm a stronger person because of it. One thing I do know, I am here standing before you today because of Inslight Learning Academy. So thank you very much to all the staff of Inslight and to the people who had the insight to develop such a place for students like me.
Not only is Lisa an avid writer, but she's also quite talented on SingStar as well.